Yeah,
30 seconds.
Tánaiste ministers, you'll all be aware that the move to level 5 restrictions has had a significant impact on the economy, particularly on the domestic economy. Businesses have closed, unemployment has gone up. I'm aware that you can't answer today as to the extent to which those restrictions will be lifted, but can I ask what was the extent or has been the extent of your engagement with the business representative organisations, as I think such engagement would be very beneficial?
I have regular and ongoing engagement with business reps and all relevant stakeholders, particularly in the context of the evolving effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on the lives and livelihoods of our people. I met with a full range of business representative groups since the government decision on the move to level 5. Specifically on the evening of the 19th of October, following the government announcement of the move to level 5, I convened a meeting with some 14 business representative bodies, including Chambers Ireland, ISME, IBEC, SFA and the Irish Exporters Association. My department and I are in ongoing engagement with these groups and their sectors. In addition, in advance of Level 5 coming into effect on the 21st of October, I convened a meeting of the Department's Retail Forum, which is chaired by Minister English, though I was present. The membership of the forum comprises the key retail representative bodies, including RG Data, CSNA, Retail Ireland, Retail Excellence and Pharmacy and Hardware Associations. Retail is the largest private sector employer in the company and supports jobs in every city, town and village. I'm acutely aware that the sector has suffered a significant shock due to the impact of COVID-19 and the period of closure of non-essential retail. My colleague Minister English is continuing to engage with the retail sector, with 2 further meetings of the forum at the end of October last week. These meetings are an opportunity to listen to stakeholder concerns and to ensure they understand and continue to abide by the requirements of the restrictions. On the 21st of October 2020, I convened a public consultation on the National Economic Plan with some 200 stakeholders from business representative groups, social partners, environment groups and non-governmental bodies. This was a virtual event to exchange ideas on the National Economic Plan, which will set out the Government's guiding priorities and policy objectives for sustainable recovery. The event was opened by the Taoiseach and was structured around 3 breakout sessions, each with a number of related issues to be considered. Further information, including a summary report of the discussions and footage from the events, can be found on my department's website. I also met with some of the business representative groups at the meeting of the Labour and Economic Employment Forum at the 28th of October. So I know it's a very long, convoluted response, Deputy, but I engage with business organisations regularly, whether it's through the LEAF or through the Retail Forum, or the Hospitality Forum, or one-to-one.
Thank you, Tánaiste. Oireachtas O'Callaghan.
Thank you very much, Tánaiste, for your detailed reply, and I think it is very beneficial that you, as Tánaiste, have met with the representative organisations. Obviously, the move to level 5 has had a very significant impact on the domestic economy. I think there's now 100,000 more people on the PUP as a result of the move to level 5 than there was beforehand. Youth unemployment is a serious issue in this country, and I think we should be careful that we don't allow this to become the accepted norm, that we can close down businesses and open them again. I'm conscious, Tánaiste, that really the resolution of this depends on how we respond to and deal with the pandemic. But I'd ask you to continue with your engagement with the business representative organisations. We've learned a lot from the lockdowns that we've had to date in Ireland. We've learned from the first lockdown that actually we can have schools open. We've learned from all lockdowns that in fact we can have supermarkets open. And I'd ask you to engage with those representative groups, as I think we learn more as to what type of non-essential retail outlets we can open in the future.
Thanks, Deputy. And we have learned a lot from the different lockdowns. You know, among the big differences between the first one and the second one is that we kept schools open and childcare open on this occasion, and we also kept construction and manufacturing going. While we've seen 100,000 more people end up on the pandemic unemployment payment, which is really terrible, as a consequence of level 5, it would have been very much higher had we closed construction and manufacturing as well, and that would have had consequences too in terms of trade and also housing supply. And I'm glad we took the decision to keep those sectors open and operating. I don't know yet what will happen on the 1st of December, whether we'll be able to move to level 3 or 2 or some sort of combination of levels, but I will continue to keep in touch with the business organisations, and in fact I'll make a point of engaging with them before that decision is made, and of course also when it's made as well, because the implications will be significant too.
Yeah, thanks, Tánaiste. Obviously, we don't know where we're going to be at the end of this month, but hopefully the trend and the numbers will continue as they are, and the instance of the disease in the country will continue to drop. I think one thing you have to be very careful about is that we're not overly or unnecessarily cautious when it comes to trying to lift the restrictions. People are going to tell you that, well, if you lift the restrictions too much, the numbers are going to go back up. Unfortunately, it's inevitably the case that numbers are going to go back up. But what we have to do is try to learn from what we've experienced over the previous lockdowns and the previous restrictions. I think it's really important to look at the supermarkets. They have been open all the time. There have not been any source of a major spread of the disease in the supermarkets. And if that type of essential retail outlet can continue to remain open without threat to the general population, then I think we need to look to see, well, what other retail outlets, which we now regard as being non-essential, can also remain open. I'd ask you to look at it in a positive light and without too much caution.
I think Debbie Callan makes some very valid points, but I do think there's one thing we need to bear in mind here. It's not so much the outlet that causes the virus to spread. You know, it's not that shoe shops are higher risk than I don't know, a newsagent or whatever outlet you want to pick. The difficulty is that everything you allow to open, the more interactions there are going to be. So it's not that the person may necessarily pick up the virus in the shoe shop from another customer or the sales assistant. It's that they go into town on the bus. They meet somebody at the bus stop. They meet other people on the bus. They maybe stop for a coffee. They go in and buy shoes, and then they come back again and do the same thing again on the bus. So, you know, cutting out certain activities and preventing people from mixing and mingling reduces the number of potential interactions. So I'm not sure that makes any sense, but like closing that particular set of stores or that particular type of hospitality business, it's not just the interaction that happens in that business, it's the 10 in the entire journey. And the whole science here, to the extent that it is a science, it's not an exact science, is to reduce the number of opportunities that people have to mix, meet other people, and thereby transmit the virus.